The new stimulus bill could be passed as soon as this afternoon.
The rescinded mask mandate in Texas takes effect today. How will this affect Texans?
And we'll show you how an animal shelter in California is saving pets in Texas.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon. I'm Cami Farrell.
And I'm Jake Evans.
The House of Representatives is poised to pass a $1.9 trillion COVID-19 bill as early as this morning. The White House says stimulus checks will start arriving this month. CNN's Britt Conway has more.
Yes, the checks should arrive soon. First, the House has to pass the COVID-19 relief bill. Then it heads to President Joe Biden's desk, and he has promised to sign it. And Democrats are promising there's more to this bill than payments. During a visit to a D.C. hardware store, the president talked to people there about helping small businesses.
400,000 small businesses went out of business. They got in line, but they couldn't get the help. And we found out that an awful lot of that went to bigger businesses.
And the Treasury Secretary pointed out there's help coming to cities and states, too.
During the Great Recession, when cities and states were facing similar revenue shortfalls, the federal government didn't provide enough aid to close the gap.
There are other elements of the bill Democrats say will help close a number of gaps created during this pandemic.
So people won't see a break in their unemployment benefits. And then the child tax credit will take a little bit longer. Vaccine distribution will get the injection that it needs immediately.
Of course, not everyone's happy the relief package is so broad and expensive. It's likely to pass without Republican support, as it did in the Senate.
It's focused on pushing more of the far left agenda.
But supporters believe it'll be the boost the economy needs.
If we do our job, I'm confident that Americans will make it to the other side of this pandemic.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Over the last 4 weeks, more than 100,000 migrants have been arrested at the U.S.-Mexican border. However, the White House refuses to call this situation a crisis. Meanwhile, a record number of unaccompanied migrant children are now in custody at the southern border. Many of those migrants can be seen living in tents. They are hopeful that the Biden administration will be more receptive during their time of need. One Homeland Security official said that the facility is significantly overcrowded with mostly children. As for the Border Patrol officers themselves, Governor Greg Abbott recently spoke out against President Joe Biden, saying that the administration needs to step up its efforts in vaccinating Border Patrol.
The Biden administration should surge vaccines to Texas, to all men and women on the Border Patrol this week, and ensure that every Border Patrol officer in the state of Texas will be vaccinated this week. Anything less than that is the epitome of inhumanity.
Texas rescinded its statewide mask mandate today. Governor Greg Abbott's decision to scale back COVID-19 restrictions is under fire as new COVID variants spread across the country. CNN's Dan Simon has more on the story.
Texas is fully reopened this morning and its mask requirement expired. Despite the state restrictions being lifted here in Houston and elsewhere,
we decided to keep the status quo. I mean, we're going to continue to wear the mask. We're going to continue to have the social distancing.
Restaurants like this one called Pico's aren't changing a thing. The owner says most people have been following its requirements, but a few people took to social media threatening to call immigration to check on the green cards of restaurant staffers. Y'all deserve ICE, read one message.
Why attack us like that? I mean, had I been at a steakhouse, you think that comment would have been made? No. We're following what is sensible, what is logical, and that's what everybody needs to do.
As some states loosen restrictions, the director of the CDC warns,
now is certainly not the time to relax restrictions. March and April are going to be pivotal times.
Following a year of virtual learning, public school students in Los Angeles may return to in-person classes in mid-April. This after the district reaching an agreement with the teachers union. Starting Monday, the final 3 states will allow teachers to get vaccinated. And in Rhode Island, officials are hoping to get all of its teachers at least a first dose of vaccine by the end of the month.
we're going to do everything that we possibly can to make sure that we salvage some of the school year.
With 3 coronavirus vaccines at hand, nearly 13% of the U.S. adult population is fully vaccinated. Alaska making the vaccine available to all residents over 16.
We're going to put this behind us as quickly as possible.
As more Americans become fully vaccinated, the CDC recommending they hold off from traveling for now. This cautious guidance as health experts fear new variants could become a problem, even with the rate of coronavirus-related deaths and hospitalizations falling across the U.S.
Vaccine is a great answer to it, but we don't have nearly enough, fast enough to dramatically impact on it.
CDC officials say they have discussed loosening travel restrictions for anyone vaccinated, but recently decided against it.
Well, Cami, it's starting to look a lot like spring out there.
I think so, Jake. I was noticing that spring windy weather on my way to the station this morning. Let's take it to our weather anchor, Bella Quintanilla.
Thanks, Jake and Cami. Let's take a look at the current conditions in Denton. As of right now, it is cloudy with a temperature of 64 degrees and a wind speed of 20 miles per hour, making it feel like 56. Looking later tonight at the conditions, it should be partly cloudy with a temperature of 66 and a wind speed of 20 miles per hour, making it feel like 55. Then let's take a look at tomorrow's conditions, where it should be cloudy with a temperature of 78 and a wind speed of 15 miles per hour, making it feel like 67 degrees. Be sure to stay tuned for the full weather report. Jake and Cami, back to you.
Thanks, Bella. 5,000 National Guardsmen will end their security detail around the D.C. Capitol. That's nearly half of the Guardsmen in total. According to a Defense Department statement released yesterday, nearly 2,200 of the Guardsmen will remain on duty through May 23rd. The decision to reduce the security detail came after a preview of the request and after officials considered the potential impact. There has been tension in parts of Washington, D.C. following the siege on the Capitol.
Legendary political reporter Roger Harrison Mudd has passed away. Mudd was known for his work at CBS News covering Congress, serving as the weekend anchor and primary substitute for Walter Cronkite. His family says he passed away peacefully in his sleep Tuesday after complications related to kidney failure. While at CBS, Mudd earned 5 Emmy Awards and a Peabody for his reporting. He later moved to NBC as co-anchor of the nightly news and co-moderator of Meet the Press. He also was the primary anchor for the History Channel when it launched. CBS said Mudd was not only a hero in the Washington Bureau, but a journalist of enormous integrity and character. He died at the age of 93.
When we come back, we will update you on Japan's new restriction for the Tokyo Olympics.
Plus, more information on the Dallas officer arrested last week. Stay with us.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. A free online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
Got your personal references, high school diploma or equivalent?
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
It's right there.
Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
Japan has decided to stage the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics without overseas spectators because of fears among the population in the fight against COVID-19. The opening ceremony of the torch relay will be on March 25th and will also be without spectators. Japan has recorded less than 500,000 COVID-19 cases, with its death toll just over 8,000.
Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia announced that he fired Officer Brian Reiser after an internal investigation concluded his involvement in the killing of 2 individuals. Reiser was arrested and placed on administrative leave last week with bail set at $5 million. Garcia said, quote, "This individual has no business wearing this uniform. I can't be any clearer than that." Reiser is accused of deaths of Albert Douglas and Lisa Marie Sines. No trial has been set as the investigation is still underway.
Cami, I think enjoying a hike this weekend is definitely in order.
I couldn't agree more, Jake. Bella, will we have some nice hiking weather this weekend?
Unfortunately, Cami, it looks like it's going to be cloudy pretty much all week. But first, let's take a look at the current conditions across North Texas. Here in Denton, it is currently 64 degrees, but if you move over into city like Graham, temperatures are a little bit warmer, where it's currently 70 degrees, but overall temperatures are staying around the mid-60s. Now let's take a look at the current conditions across the state. Down here in Houston, it's a little bit warmer with 73 degrees as of right now. And if you move west into El Paso, it is currently 62 degrees. Now let's take a look at the forecast for the rest of this week. It should be pretty cloudy the rest of the week until we get to Tuesday, where we should get a little bit of sun, but temperatures are going to be steadily dropping from the high 70s to the high 60s and may even drop to the high 40s later this week. There is a chance for rain this week with a 40% chance on Friday and a 70% chance on Saturday and Sunday. Jake and Cami, back to you.
Bella. The critical screening of jurors in the case against Derek Chauvin, the Minneapolis police officer charged with George Floyd's death, is moving ahead. Jurors have been grilled by the court in an effort to keep things fair on both sides of the trial. The court has also dismissed all potential jurors that claim they already have personal opinions on the case. The potential jurors say they are feeling hesitant to be involved. We will keep you updated as the trial moves forward.
The Biden administration is planning to buy 100 million doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine. President Biden is expected to make the announcement during a meeting with executives from Johnson & Johnson and Merck. Currently, Johnson & Johnson has a deal with the U.S. government to provide 100 million doses by the end of June. Governor Greg Abbott's mandate allowing 100% capacity in businesses goes into effect today, along with giving businesses the option on whether to enforce masks or not. This creates a big difficulty for restaurants in North Texas. Mask requirements will vary from business to business, as will local and social distancing. If customers refuse to wear a mask inside a place that requires them, the business has the right to refuse service. County officials can put mask mandates and capacity limits back in place if hospitalizations in their region rise above 15% for more than 7 consecutive days. The best restaurants and bars can do at the moment is to decide whether their approach is a clearly communicated one with their requirements and expectations with employees and customers.
As we all know, driving around Denton can be difficult, from potholes to the everlasting construction that slows us drivers down. However, some good news is coming our way. ntTV's David Moreno has a story.
Construction, everyone's worst enemy. The cones, the noise, and the blockage make it hard for residents to navigate their way through the city. But for local business owners, it's an even bigger problem that's been going on for too long. Wayne Lacombe, co-owner of Legends Diner, is a business owner on Elm Street who has been struggling at the hands of the ongoing construction, which started back in early January of last year.
So business was good for a couple weeks till people realized we had construction going on down here, and then it went downhill pretty quick. We saw probably from January to March, probably a decline of about 50%.
And with that decline, Legends Diner has had to shift and adapt to other services in addition to their own to try and keep customers coming in who avoid driving through Elm Street.
We did as many promotions as we possibly could think of and come up. We also started with the DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub.
Further down the road, another business, Taqueria Tres Carnales, is facing a similar situation.
I don't think we even know our full potential because of the construction. The construction has caused so much hindrance and traffic through here that we don't even know what we're supposed to be until I think the construction's going to be gone.
Either way, both businesses remain hopeful as construction is slated to end spring of this year.
We have definitely been in contact with the city, and we're working on different grants and funds available to get.
For ntTV News, I'm David Moreno.
After the break, we will see how one California animal shelter is saving lives in Texas.
And some updates about UNT's aviation program.
What does it look like when a life is truly changed?
I feel a sense of accomplishment because I built a house. This house has brought us financial independence.
Yeah, así está. Every family dreams to have their own house. This house changed our lives.
Habitat for Humanity is at work in your community and around the world. Through shelter, we empower.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But here's the thing. Can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Can one piece of paper really tell you my whole story? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or how anytime there was an opportunity, I was the first one to step up. Because I wasn't gonna let my life, my circumstances dictate who I was gonna become. And all of that determination, commitment, drive, that's me. And that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent like me.
About 24 dogs rescued from an overcrowded Texas shelter are now in California, where they are hoping to find forever homes. A team of animal activists banded together and were able to save the dogs from being put down. CNN's Blake Devine reports.
After severe winter weather struck Texas, thousands of pets ended up at shelters. This overflow of animals meant tough times for kennels caring for all these creatures.
They were at risk for euthanasia. When shelters reach that kind of capacity, it's not humane to keep so many animals in a small space.
With a whimper for help, Santa Barbara County Animal Services stepped up to the plate, putting together a team to transport 22 dogs and 1 cat from El Paso.
Taking these animals that are in an area that is not as fortunate as us in terms of animal welfare and be able to find them forever homes was something we just couldn't pass up on.
Taking a 20-hour round trip to Tucson to care for Pa's cars picked up the pups.
I had 14 in my van. Wendy had 9 in hers. It was a little bit noisy at times, but they were great passengers.
The dogs were very calm, got along very well with one another, and the journey went very well.
They arrived in Santa Barbara late Saturday night and are now safe and sound.
So happy. They are all dogs that have been in the shelter system for a long time. Some of them for more than a year.
Thus far, Santa Barbara County Animal Services has received 350 applications for these dogs from Texas, but they're not the only animals in need of homes.
We know that there's going to be some disappointed adopters because we have 22 dogs.
We hope that people realize that there's pets that need homes every day of the week and they don't have to be from Texas.
Up for adoption, these pups are hoping for a new home.
There's nothing like the love of a shelter dog. You know that you're saving them. You can find them good homes.
A Texas Tuesday adoption event is taking place this week at the shelter. In Santa Barbara, I'm News Channel reporter Blake Devine.
UNT pioneers the education field for its aviation logistics program.
But you may wonder, what does aviation logistics entail? Our segment anchor, Marjorie Morales, tells us what that's all about.
The Aviation Logistics Program at UNT is celebrating 10 years of being opened. Let's take a look. First 4-year degree of its kind in Texas, students have the opportunity to learn not only how to fly an airplane, but how to fix one. Steve Joyner, the principal lecturer of the department, has been in aviation since 1968 and has been teaching students since the program began at UNT.
The first thing we teach them is an introduction to the aviation industry, because most people have a very small understanding of how big the aviation industry is. And so we start off by just talking about how deep it is as far as jobs that one can have, not just flying the airplanes, but working on the airplanes or supporting the airplanes, or about 85% of the jobs in the aviation industry don't have anything to do with the actual aircraft itself, the cabin or the cockpit. And so we open the students' eyes to that.
The university has partnered with Southwest Airlines, American Airlines, and Hillside Properties to provide students with internship opportunities. Sherman Gardner, the owner of In the Pattern Aviation Flight, says there can be many benefits.
It'll give them a more rounded experience than just going through just a traditional flight school where the only thing that they are learning is just flight training. They'll learn a more rounded, have a more rounded experience. Anybody can teach anybody how to fly. We want them to experience it. It's more encompassing of the entire aviation experience than just the flight training.
He says depending on a student's end goal, they can find jobs in support logistics, airframe and power plant, and of course, being a pilot. If you want more information about the Aviation Logistics Program, you can visit the UNT website. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Marjorie. Well, I'm excited to finally see our Mean Green basketball team play today.
Me too, Jake. Sebastian Nava, our sports anchor, will share the details.
That's right. Our Mean Green basketball team plays tonight in the Conference USA tournament. I'll have that, along with updates from last night's Stars game and today's Mavericks game when we return.
Oh, emojis! I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls, just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you.
She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze.
Help up the hand.
Ah, there you go.
Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Jane!
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Hey? God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Mean Green basketball will be playing today in the Conference USA Championship Tournament at the Ford Center in Frisco, Texas. UNT wrapped up their regular season this past weekend with back-to-back losses to the UAB Blazers, ending the season on a 3-game losing streak. North Texas will be looking to play off the energy of senior Javion Hamlet, who was just named to the Conference USA All-Conference team, and all-freshman first-teamer Reuben Jones. UNT will also look to seniors James Reese and Zachary Simmons to help North Texas make a run. UNT held the 3rd seed in the West to qualify for a bye and will tip off tonight at 9 p.m. on ESPN Plus versus Middle Tennessee. The winner of the conference tournament will punch a ticket to Indiana to play in the March Madness National Tournament. The Dallas Stars hosted the Chicago Blackhawks last night at the American Airlines Center, looking for a big win after a tough loss on Sunday in a shootout versus the Nashville Predators. The Stars came out guns blazing with a goal by Joel Kiviranta less than 2 minutes into the first period. The Stars came into the arena with their shooting sticks, finding the back of the net 6 times, including 3 in the second period. Jason Robertson had a helping hand in the high production by putting in 4 assists in last night's match. Anton Hudobin also had a great performance, protecting the Dallas goal, putting up 21 saves and only giving up 1 goal to Chicago. The Stars will be looking to repeat last night's results tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. in a rematch versus the Chicago Blackhawks. The Mavericks are also starting the second half of their season tonight versus the San Antonio Spurs at the American Airlines Center. The Mavericks get Luka Doncic back after Doncic spent his All-Star break representing the Mavericks in the skill contest and the All-Star game in Atlanta on Sunday. The Mavericks will look to continue their form after winning 13 out of the last 16 to finish the first half in the 8th seed with an 18-16 record. Luka Doncic will use the second half of the season to boost chances of an MVP candidacy after finishing the first half as the team leader in points, rebounds, and assists. They will tip off tonight at 7:30 p.m. versus the Spurs. That's all I have from sports. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Sebastian. Today's a day to celebrate everyone's favorite plumber. That's right, it's Mario Day. March 10th celebrates Nintendo's mascot and his impact on popular culture. The company set this day as Mario Day because March 10th, abbreviated, looks like the word Mario. The plumber has been around since Donkey Kong the game hit arcades 35 years ago. From there, he's appeared in games, shows, comics, and recently an amusement park. The new Super Mario Nintendo World is set to open March 18th, and there's no better way to celebrate Mario than by going. I can visit that theme park soon.
Me too, Jake. I know I've been a fan of Super Mario Brothers as long as I can remember.
Thanks for watching ntTV News at Noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 here on North Texas Television.